co-ops does CPI regularly collaborate with?
CPI, well, the easy one is right here in Hastings, next door is AGP. We use that for soybean processing and soybean market access. The next big player that CPI utilizes is CoBank. That's for the financial needs, of course. They do our seasonal lending and long-term lending for any projects or expansions that we might need, or any financial services. Then there's Land O'Lakes, and they are involved in the feed side of CPI. And they also are involved in some community giving with matching funds. CoBank is also involved in that giving back to the community too. And then the last one is CHS. We rely on CHS very heavily for the energy side of things, fuel, lube oils, and we also utilize them for market access and sell them some grain in the grain department. And then into the future, we're hoping to be able to work with CHS in the crop nutrients and crop protection area.
How does working with other cooperatives make CPI stronger and more efficient?
Well, on the input side, it allows access to more products that farmers need to grow the crop, and also access to the expertise from around the nation. They have bigger footprints than CPI does locally in south central Nebraska, so being able to draw from outside your area is an important factor in having expertise for those different products. On the commodity side of things, basically it gives another outlet for CPI's grain to be sold to, and global market access. CHS, for example, is in 65 different countries. They have several Panamax ship loading facilities in the US, and so that grain can go around the world. AGP is the same way. They'll process the soybeans, and then those soybeans, that soybean oil either gets used domestically, or it may get exported along with the meal, gets exported out of the Pacific Northwest. So just being able to group more co-ops together is a similar concept to when co-ops were first formed, getting farmers together. So it just expands your market share that way.
How do CPI's partnerships with other co-ops in the area lead to better prices, products, or services for members?
It's basically leveraging that economy of scale. Anytime you can get more people together, you have more buying power for the inputs that you need. And the same way for selling grain. The more bushels of grain you can put together, the better rates you can probably get shipping. And it's also another outlet. It creates market competition for that too. It's kind of mind-boggling, I guess, on the commodity side to think that your bushel could go a mile down the road to a local feed yard, or it could go halfway around the world to, say, Vietnam or China or into Egypt.
What practices has CPI learned from working with other cooperatives that have helped shape our own strategies?
Well, I guess on the financial side, as far as the board is concerned, we rely heavily on CoBank as a sounding board for financial decisions, whether we want to do an expansion or invest in a certain enterprise that we are involved in. And on the same way, they have benchmarking data from other cooperatives that allow us to know if we're doing a good job in an area, or if we're not doing so good, what can we improve? Or, worst case scenario, if we need to, close an enterprise or maybe shrink it back because it isn't being profitable. As far as the other cooperatives, having that economy of scale for buying and selling products is important. It makes CPI more efficient. And then being a cooperative, we are doing business with them creates equity, and they will pay us patronage, and we get equity in their business that may be redeemed at a later time too. So those things make CPI more efficient and allow us to do some of the projects that we do.
Why is cooperation among cooperatives important to CPI's mission and values?
Well, going back to that 100 years ago, how they were formed, cooperatives were formed by farmers for farmers. So when you take a group of cooperatives and put them together, they share those values. And at the base, even though those regional cooperatives are large and they're worldwide, at the end of the day, if you track clear down the ownership, it is at the producer level, and they always have a voice in that leadership structure, and they can influence or take part in that leadership and the governance of those cooperatives as well.